So I'm walking out on the dock, and I never expect this, but there was a ton of bass in here today. There goes 3 of them in the water now. It's hard to see. Let me try to get closer to get a better angle. They're already spooked. There's 3 decent-sized bass down there right now. Don't know if you can see it. Welcome back to another chapter in the Beard Zero saga. Thanks so much for tuning in today. So, today, like days before today, I had more issues with my filming gear. Certainly, it becomes a big problem for me when I can't film the way that I want to. So, my pledge is from here on out, I'm going to work a lot harder to start debunking all the problems that I have going on here and be able to bring you genuine, good content. But anyways, enough of that. So, I'm out here today on Stillhouse Hollow Lake, located in Central Texas, and I'm starting my search for crappie and bass. Now, all throughout the wintertime, I came out here from time to time just to try and see if there was anything nearby shore. I didn't see any bass. I didn't see any fish at all, really, save for a couple few shad here and there. I didn't really see too much while I was out there. So, on this day, I knew that the water was starting to warm up and that soon the crappies and the bass are going to be on the move, coming from the deeper water, moving up to the shallower water. So, this is the first spot that I always start at. Generally, I make several casts here with either a worm type bait looking for bass, and then I'll also cast with some type of jig for crappies. Today I was using the sniper shad, which you'll get to see later. But for now, the search begins. Now, originally I had just gotten done filming a really good intro. However, for some reason the file that it was got corrupted. Now I'm trying to see if there's a way I can recover it, but can't wait forever. So this is how we have to negotiate this little hiccup in the road. But I do promise, changes are coming that will definitely add to the quality of the content that I provide to you. So as you can see, I'm switching, changing baits out, going back and forth. Sometimes just changing back and forth really can make all the difference. It's like all of a sudden a light switch turns on and the fish will start hitting. That's if they're there, though. And that's what I'm here to find out today, whether or not they're here or not yet. Maybe they could be here, because it's the right time of year, but we just came off of that really nasty ice storm last month that definitely super chilled all the lakes, and probably is going to delay a lot of the fish activity this year. Not necessarily certain, though. Might not be. Really all just depends on the weather. And we certainly have some very warm days coming up here soon in the near future. But for now, here is where we grind it out. Oh, just missed one. A bass came right up to the shore and grabbed it. So I'm going to do a little short cast here. Try to get it right back in front of him. But he smacked it, but only grabbed like the tail of it. It's too bad I couldn't catch that on camera. Ooh, my favorite. Walking over the logs and stuff. This is just the time-consuming part. The reason that it's super time-consuming to go out and try to fish and cover any type of water from shore is having to negotiate all this type of stuff. And all of this stuff washed up here when the water was that high. So imagine, at one point in time, this reservoir was super full of water. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing when it's that full. With extra water, there's extra places for the fish to go. So the deeper the lake gets, the harder it is to find the fish. But we're going to definitely search every little nook and cranny along the way so we can try to find something today. Yep, got to get in between the trees. Always got to look around and check. Drives you nuts when you cast up into a tree and you got to go all the way back up to your bag and go have to retie again because you lost your lure to the tree. Now in the past, when I'd be fishing out here, I used to tie on like 65-pound braided line to be able to deal with some of this stuff. You know, if I got snagged up, I could yank it right out and I'll pull a log out if I have to with that 65-pound braided. It's heavy stuff. But to me, in my opinion, it does seem to affect the fish a little bit. I think that they do see that big heavy line. So it is kind of a give and take thing. You might not necessarily want to use heavy braid with like a finesse type bait where a fish is going to come in and take a close look at it. You might want to use that more with your crankbaits or fast moving baits, swim baits, things like that. That's more of a reaction type strike. They don't really take such a good look at it before they decide, oh hey, I'm going to smack this. Yep. Now I got to go perch myself up on top of this log over here to be able to cast to the other side of these trees. Everything's a balancing act out here. But that's part of why I love it. It's better than just walking up to a nice flat shore and nothing there, nothing to look at, nothing to see. Although it does add to the difficulty, especially later on as it starts to heat up and it starts getting above 90 degrees to be out here. It starts getting hot to be traipsing around across the wilderness in the heat. Over these rocks, over these boulders, over these logs. Yeah, not just branches, these logs. Sometimes the log is half my height or larger. Oh. Gorgeous fish. Beautiful. Nice largemouth. Super cold still. Let's get him back in the water. Off he goes. What happened there was I was getting ready to move locations along with trying to conserve battery life on my GoPro. So I decided to shut it off while I was packing my stuff up, and I decided to make one or two last casts before I left that area, and I hooked into one. I think it was an overestimation of my ability to be able to power back on my GoPro in case I had a fish on. And I probably should have known, okay, it's going to take a little longer than just 1 second to do it, but now I know. So moving forward, I'll make sure the camera stays on so we don't miss any more fish catches like that. Because that was depressing. That was really, really, really something the way he hit it. Now I'm arriving out to the peak. And this water is super high right now. If you can see in the water, that little drop-off edge there, that's where the water line normally is and where I'm standing when I fish. So with the water this high, it's significantly high, which, again, like I said earlier, isn't exactly the greatest thing, but it's not so high that it's a huge problem yet. So we'll keep trucking on. That's back the way that I came from. So this is a great big channel in the lake that runs all the way back up to that dock that I was at. But from here, it's probably a mile and a half walk, and over rugged terrain at times. There's trails and stuff out there, but most of the walk and most of the fishing is standing on rocks, balancing on this, stepping over logs jamming you in the back of your legs. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's all worth it when you get out here, as long as you don't get yourself too hurt. I'm always scanning in the water. Because almost every time I come out here, I usually see massive shad swim by. And these shad, I'm not talking about it being a 5-6 inch shad. No, these are 10 to 12 inch shad that swim by. And I think that sometimes that's some of the things that I used to not know what they were. And I used to spend a lot of time trying to catch them at first when I was new to Texas. I had no idea. I thought that they were either like drum or something else that could be caught with maybe a night crawler. Okay, so today was a very all-around tough day. Covered a lot of water here at Stillhouse Reservoir. This is a very large system of water here that's fed by the Lampasas River, of which I was fishing just the last couple weeks, about 5 miles that way. For today, the search is called off for the crappie, but don't worry, it will be right back on. And next time, as the search continues, I'll call into service the use of the depth charge. Stay tuned to see what it is. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell at the bottom.